Meeting come call to order. Public Information and Education Committee, a special meeting of the Board of Directors. EJ, can we determine a quorum?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Director Scott Houston.
Here.
Chairman Tommy Pavai.
Here.
Director Desi Alvarez. Director Don Deere.
Here.
Director Gloria Gray.
Here,
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, EJ. Our next item is public comment. Do we have public comment here in our board meeting or virtually?
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any requests for public comment prior to this meeting. Though, as you mentioned, this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak under public comment, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any requests.
EJ. All right, our next item is number 4, presentations. Do we have any presentations today?
Staff has no presentations.
All right, moving on to our next item, number 5, action calendar. A, you want to go ahead and start on that recommendation, EJ?
Mr. Chairman, the first item, as you mentioned, is item 5A. It's to amend a vendor agreement for the Parkway Beautification Program. For this presentation, we do have Gus Meza, our Senior Water Policy and Resources Analyst, as well as Matt Bay, our Manager of Water Policy and Resources Development. And this item begins on packet page 3.
Good afternoon, committee and board members. My PowerPoint slides for this item start on packet page 6. Next slide, please. So for this item, staff is seeking board approval to amend our current agreement with Ecotech Services and to add outside funding so that they can construct additional parkways in our underserved areas. We are seeking approval to add $30,000 to their existing contract of $150,000 for a new total of $180,000. This project is 100% being funded by outside funding from MWD and a grant from DWR. Next slide, please. With the current funding, we are on track to provide 4 parkways, as you can see here in this table, in 4 of our divisions, with 5 parkways in Division 2. Staff is seeing larger parkways this year compared to last year. The average size of the parkways last year was around 282 square feet, compared to this year, 332 square feet. So a little larger parkways that we're seeing. In Divisions 2 and 5, there are multiple larger projects, larger parkways there, greater than 500 square feet. So that's increasing the average size. The additional $30,000 will allow for a total of 5 parkways to be constructed in each division. Next slide, please. As was mentioned, West Meson's Parkway program is being fully paid by outside funding. We are currently utilizing $50,000 from our DWR grant, as you can see here in the table, and $100,000 from MWD. Each year, Metropolitan, they have a program called the Member Agency Administered Program, where they allocate funding to all 26 member agencies to help us with our conservation programs. And so we get about $250,000 each year that we use for our rain barrel programs. Some of it goes to water harvest, and a lot of it, as you can see here, is going to our parkway program. So this funding is coming from MWD. But as you can also see here, though, there are some headlights coming with our agreements with MWD and DWR to use this funding. So right now we do have an opportunity to use $30,000 from our MWD, what we call MAA, Member Agency Administered Program. So we have until, as you can see here, May 15th to finish the program with MWD and invoice them. Next slide, please. So we currently do have more than 30,000 remaining in our MAA allocation that will expire in March. We did receive some good news from MWD. We submitted this request that we're discussing right now to MWD, and they did approve for us to use $30,000 that's remaining for the additional parking gardens. So we attached Ecotex quote, that's our landscape contractor. They provided us with a quote, so we attached it to this memo. And they quoted $25,875 to construct these gardens, and we added 4,125 in contingency for items that may face these projects, for a total of $30,000 of MWD. Next slide, please. So I will go ahead and read the recommendation, and then you can take any questions or comments you may have. The recommendation is that the board authorize the general manager to amend agreement number W3184 with Ecotex Services Incorporated, and to add $25,875 plus $4,125 of contingency to the existing contract amount of $150,000 for a new total not to exceed amount of $180,000. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. So we'll bring it behind the dais. Does any of our directors have any questions or concerns? Director Gray, do you have any concerns or questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, Gus. So this is the action item, correct?
That's correct.
All right, we have a motion,
We'll just do a recommendation.
okay, recommendation? Okay,
I recommend we say yes for me to give it to the board for approval.
and yes. Thank you. All right, and then our next item is number 6, information calendar. A 2026 Public Water Education Forum. EJ?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to try to introduce this item, but it's worth noting that I also have Matt Bay, our Manager of Water Policy and Resource Development, here with us today, as well as Daryl Ramos Young, who's joining us virtually to back me up on the item. This item, the 2026 Public Water Education Forum, is a continuation of a conversation that was initiated last month at the Public Information Education Committee. It was re-agendized for a board discussion at the board meeting for the month of January. However, due to time, it was recommended by myself that the board move it back to the Public Information Education Committee, which is where we are today. As noted in the board memo, the general public sometimes has difficulty getting specific information about the water industry and water supply in Southern California and the state, and even nationally. I think the best example of that would be earlier this week, just our conversation with the board of directors about all of the stormwater that's been coming down. How are we managing that, and how does that play a role in the overall water sustainability and reliability in our region? And with this in mind, the board had asked during the budget discussions of last year to set aside some funding for a public education forum. Now, since that time, since we've had the opportunity to budget for it and we've set some funding aside, I have had the opportunity to discuss this concept with several of the individual directors to get some feedback as to what we would want this forum to look like. And I'll just try to summarize as best I can. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I definitely want to kind of give a broader picture of what we've been discussing. One, what I've heard from each of my conversations is that the general public and residents within the West Basin service area should be our primary target audience. You know, having a large audience of people that are eager to learn about water and have questions about some of the things that they've heard in the news, whether about the State Water Project or the Colorado River water use efficiency, or again, stormwater, and would throw in the use of recycled water and possibly direct potable reuse. People have general questions, so really targeting the general public was one common theme that I heard in all of my individual conversations. Secondly, when it comes to a location, preferably having it within the West Basin service area. We obviously have a broad service area going from Malibu all the way down to the Palos Verdes Peninsula. So trying to find something that is centrally located where the maximum amount of people could attend would be great. Third, to maximize attendance, targeting an evening or a weekend for something or an event where the general public, could avoid their work days and tasks that they must do to, again, create an atmosphere to maximize attendance. This would include a meal, whether it's in the evening, a dinner, or if we were to do a weekend, having a breakfast and or lunch combined so that people can go there, feel comfortable, and enjoy their experience. And then fourth, the idea of the agenda topics. And clearly, when you look at what's in the media and some of the issues that California is facing, there are some specific issues. There's some politically tricky issues, and there are a lot of issues that have been undecided. So what I've heard generally is that this education forum should generally speak to the impact on the West Basin service area in Southern California on imported water supplies, which would include kind of a where do we get our water, the State Water Project and the CRA, but not getting into Delta conveyance and stuff like that. But it's more of an education about how these issues play a role in the West Basin service area. Secondly, water recycling. Depending on the location, including a tour of the Edward C. Little water recycling facility. But if it was offsite, talking about not just what West Basin has been a pioneer in, but talking about the future of water recycling in our region. Water use efficiency, when we talk about conservation and saving water, a lot of the questions that we get from the general public are, what can we do? We have a very active community that is wanting to do everything they can to help us out as well as their communities. So really showcasing some of the programs that we have to offer and how each individual household can have an impact and what that impact looks like on a regional level. And then last but not least, because it's such a prevalent issue right now, stormwater. West Basin has been a pioneer when it comes to utilizing rain barrels and distributing those and making sure that we save, every drop that we can, but really talking about and showcasing the success of LA County and Southern California as far as all of those investments that measure W money and the impact that's had in LA County and what we've been able to conserve when it comes to stormwater. Now, because this discussion was initiated during the past budget cycle, I have had the opportunity to have several conversations with the board president at that time, and those conversations carried on through the calendar year. And I know that she is now serving as the recent past president. But I think the direction that I was getting from each of you, I think, fell in line with what her vision was. And so I know that she's online or on the phone with us today. So I did want to initially throw it over to her just so she could provide kind of her thoughts when it came to this event, because she was instrumental as far as getting it through the budget process. So Director Gray, if you're still with us, if you maybe want to share your thoughts.
Okay, thank you, EJ. And I think you did a great job summarizing some of the comments that were provided last year and certainly under my presidency. So thank you to all the directors for their input, and thank you for the thorough report. As you stated, my vision really had to do with educating the public. Since I've been on the board, I think we've had at least one, maybe two educational forums, and that's what I see this as, an educational forum to the public. And all of us are aware that water is very important to the folks out there and to the general public. And in my service area, certainly in the city of Inglewood, we just had an increase in water rates and people are not aware of water. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation about water, and certainly imported water is part of our water portfolio, as well as groundwater, water conservation, recycled water, and those are all the areas that I think this forum should be about. And so again, I think it should be an educational forum for the public. And that's what we're here to do, is to make sure that the public is aware of what we do, so that when things come up with increase in water rates, that the public is at least has some idea of why these increases happen. And so I do support moving forward with an educational forum, but the target would be the public, and it would be focused on educating the public about what we do at West Basin, the different areas that we provide water to the public. And so those are my thoughts. I'd like to hear what others are saying, any additional information. Mr. Chair, if you would permit that.
Yes, yes, thank you, Director Gray. I'll go ahead and bring you behind the dais and see if we have any comments from our directors.
It's Director Houston, and number one, I wholly agree with what you just said, Director Gray. I do believe it should be for the broad public, and it should be for those who live in our service area, so they do understand. And you're exactly right. There's a lot of folks right now that, well, one, we know this is not the number one priority probably, and it's raining a lot at this moment. At the same time, there's a sense of urgency with the Colorado River and a number of other issues that are not going to go away. So I think it's a great time to educate and engage our residents and our business owners. So I would like to definitely look at how we could do that. I like what the general manager mentioned, and I've been in that space too. I don't want it to go off in the tangents that we're trying to support any specific project as far as like, if it was Delta Conveyance or something, like that. I think we need to tell people facts. But what I'd also like to do is showcase what has West Basin done over the course of, let's say, certainly 30 years, but let's say the last 10 years, the last 5 years. We can showcase how much grass we've taken out, how much recycled water we've added onto the system. A lot of the different education and outreach programs you all have done. As well as what's the future of pure water, which is right here in our backyard. So there's some things like that I think we would want to touch on. One of the things I actually thought about while you were speaking is, when we put this together, I think we should maybe we could try to video record it so that we could post it, on our YouTube channel or something for posterity. So for those who can't make it, because no matter when we pick a date, there's going to be a lot of folks who may want to come and won't be able to be here. And I think that might be a good idea. So I'd like us to consider that. If we could video record this, good quality that we could put out there, public. I think that's the majority of my issues, when we talked about this, so I'd like to see it though, something that's easily accessible to our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Houston. Director Deere?
Yeah, I agree with both of my colleagues' comments. They are very progressive in their ideas, and I support them both.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Deere. I agree with Director Deere that, with the comments from Director Houston and Director Gray, I think it's spot on. Especially with the, the topics that are mentioned on the Colorado River, the Delta Conveyance and so forth. But I wanted to add that just what Director Houston mentioned is that to talk about our wins, like the projects that are moving forward, like SoCal Pure Water and other wins that we can actually talk about. I understand that, on these main topics, but adding our wins in there, that makes a big difference, because I think the public could relate to that and see how we're doing. And, you touched on it, Director Houston, on the conservation programs, and how we're taking advantage of all these grant funds, and, we're not leaving it on the table. We're actually utilizing these funds and being fiduciary, stewards of of West Basin. So I think the wins most definitely should be added in there when it comes to the small victories that we have performed here in West Basin.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could piggyback on that, I can assure you, this agency has numerous wins, especially if you want to go back 10 years, right? You can go back 30 and 40, as Director Houston mentioned. Yes, within each of those categories, broadly, there are significant milestones and victories, not only for West Basin, but for Southern California as a whole. When you talk a little bit about our imported water supply, the significant decrease that we've seen over this past decade when it comes to water purchased by West Basin from Metropolitan Water District. You'll recall that just 2 years ago, we had our all-time low, really dropping into the 80 or near the 80,000 acre peak mark. That's something that nobody thought was possible if you go back 10 and 15 years ago. The growth and the impact of our recycled water program in our region, not only when you talk about water supply that's been developed and utilized in our service area, but really how West Basin has impacted the state view of potable reuse, indirect potable reuse, and the impact that this agency had on getting the state to actually move forward in developing the regulations. Water use efficiency, I've already mentioned it, but our grant programs and the local dollars that are spent on our programs is so low in comparison to what we've been able to achieve and provide to our communities is just unbelievable. So yes, those victories, those wins, and the success will be a part of all of those stories. If I could maybe ask for a little bit of your thoughts in relation to location. Again, we do have a budget for this, so we are able to spend some money. We want to have it be a nice event. We want to advertise it and market it, so there'll be expenses there. But when we talk about location, we do believe that we could host it at Edward C. Little. There's enough space, but if we're going to market this the best we can, we're going to try to maximize every square foot of wherever we are. And so if we wanted to go, into those other spaces, we've previously rented out portions of the Carson Community Center for events like that. I do know that there is an event space in the city of Inglewood that's been utilized. I've had a chance to be at a couple of events there. But what I would recommend or suggest we think about is how do we make it truly local for as many people as we can. We want to minimize the drive. If it's in the evening, you have evening traffic, you have people coming home from work. And so we want to make sure that it's easily accessible to as many people as possible. So if you have any thoughts on location, we can begin doing the research on those spots, and again, working with our timelines as well.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead, Director Gray.
I'd like to comment on that. As I recall, EJ, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think we had one in the Culver City area, I believe. We've had one in Carson. And so I think Ed.C. Little is certainly an area that we can consider. Obviously, we have not had one in the Inglewood area, and you did mention in terms of, how people can get to the site and our service area, kind of what is the center point for our service area? I don't know if Inglewood is or not, but Ed.C. Little is one particular site, and certainly I would like to look at a different area, which would, I'm suggesting the Inglewood area because we've had one, and like I said, if I'm incorrect, please let me know, but I think we've had one in Culver City and one in Carson. Do you want to comment on that? Am I correct?
That is correct. We have, if you think about the forums, those were different audiences. But we have held a couple of different events at the Carson Community Center, primarily focused on regulators and policymakers. We've done something similar, which is more broad as far as our audience. There were several members of the public, but also council members and policymakers in the event that we held in Culver City. And then we've held a couple that were what I would say outside of our service area.
Okay, well, that was my input, so I would suggest that, that's my input. Consider that board and maybe stop and come back with some recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Gray. Director Houston and Director Deere, do you have any comments on the location?
I kind of feel maybe we could have more locations, but a smaller show sort of a thing. To spread about to different communities in our district. Not quite sure how we compress it all, but that would be something we could think about.
So like two different quorums.
Yeah, or just something
Different
not
locations.
to attract hundreds and hundreds of people at one time.
Are we looking, EJ, have we considered doing it one location, one evening, and then a different location on another day?
Well,
Are we considering that?
that was not the original direction that we received. However, West Basin has a smaller agenda style education events. The best example would probably be like a fire escaping class, where we've done those in different communities because those areas are the communities that are at risk of fire. So we have gone and had different events in different parts of our service area. If the board would like us to package up an agenda for more of a broad overview and do a couple of different smaller events where it's a little more targeted, we can certainly do that.
I like that idea about doing it at different dates, but different locations, kind of spread it out within the district. Director Houston, you have any? Ideas?
No, I think that's actually an interesting idea. I would be open to maybe splitting it into a couple locations, it create more work potentially, and you have to figure out put the programming in one versus the other. Maybe it's not exactly the same or not depending on who's available as speakers. But it may help solve a little bit of our challenge here because the district is very big. And yeah, we did do an event in Culver City years ago for just elected officials. A long time ago, we did town hall or something like that in Inglewood. In old facilities that were there. And then, of course, we use Carson a lot. I do know that. So maybe if you split it up a little bit, you could do function in Inglewood. Maybe do function in Carson. I have to say, I do really like the Carson Community Center because of the fact that it's right off the freeway. It's got lots of parking. It's fairly central. Even with Ed C. Little, it is on one edge of the district. And I know that, for some people, it's not the easiest thing to get out to El Segundo. I'm envisioning these probably on a weeknight. But I'm open to a Saturday if that's what people think might work. But quite on, okay, I think if you do split it, let's just say to two. It may help to, you get a targeted audience of 50 people, maybe if you're lucky, 100 at each one. It might actually be a good idea.
Okay.
I don't want to make staff work harder on this, but I do think that actually is a really interesting idea.
I greatly
Mr. Chair,
appreciate- Oh, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
I do have
Director Gray.
comments. Yeah, I do have
Yes, go ahead.
comments. So, I think it's a good idea to maybe consider two. I wouldn't look at it more. I don't know what the budget is, first of all, and I would like the sessions to be meaningful in terms of, I think Director Houston mentioned speakers and so forth. So I think we really need to kind of figure out what we want our budget to be. We've had events in Carson. I think you won't get, some folks from the other part of our district to come there. I mean, that's why I think it's wise to spread it out. I don't remember, and I think Director Houston mentioned Inglewood. I don't remember an event that West Basin had in Inglewood that was a forum, but, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. But I was trying to figure out even where in Inglewood, which is another issue. Where would we have it? I mean, I always have my town hall meetings at the senior center, which is a nice facility, and there's always a huge crowd there. So that's a thought, to have it at that senior center. If we do decide on Inglewood, that's the only place I can kind of think of there. But water is a big, and I'm sure other areas, but right now, water is a real big issue because we just raised it. I don't know when we're planning on having this, but I think educating the public can happen anytime you're going to have folks who are interested in finding out about water. So I just want to make sure that we look at the entire district. Again, everybody kind of knows about Ed C. Little plant, and because of our recycled water program there, so people are aware of it. But I'm not quite sure if we would get folks on this side of town to go over there to Carson. So that's my input.
Thank you, Director Gray. I think, I agree with Director Houston. We should look at, the two locations. If it's City of Carson, the community center, and then the facility that Director Gray mentioned, the senior citizen facility in Inglewood. I think that'd be great. And then to add to the agenda, and I forgot to mention this, I think we should talk about like the legislative stuff that we're actually, like, say, for instance, we're supporting a legislative bill that we can bring up when we're actually, having these, these talks back and forth, right? So I think the public can understand that, we're in Sacramento, we're in Washington, DC, pushing for these policies to, whether it's a positive one or, right? So I think we should bring that up as well when it comes to legislative bills that we're supporting. Any other concerns, or, yeah, go ahead.
I think, just to wrap it up, I mean, just give you some more to work on each. I know we're keep changing things a little on the fly, but it's a good conversation.
No, I do think it's great direction. I do think it's very manageable. I think that some of these things are things that we typically do anyways when we talk about our water education. So it's really about shaping it into kind of the format and the agenda that we're talking about, and even the direction that the chairman just provided about maybe wrapping in some of the what I would call current issues, because a bill, a legislative matter, is a very current issue and will evolve over time. So it really depends on when we're hosting an event.
Yeah.
Possibly doing two, one a little bit northern, one a little bit southern, and trying to find that middle spot where we can generate the bigger audiences. And then managing that with our current existing class loads, because a lot of those subject matters that we're talking about fit into those other categories. So we might be able to merge some of those things to align everything.
Say this quickly, and I agree with the idea of having the two different locations, and I really do think my perspective, Carson and Inglewood are the two that I would be very supportive of that. And the other thing too with Ed C. Little is you obviously host the classes on certain days there. So as Director Gray mentioned, And that's what's hard for all of these, is to figure out where we can get people, how far they can drive to come to something like this. So I think you get, you get a certain audience that's gonna come to the Inglewood area, as well as this extremely active community. You get a certain audience that'll track to Carson. And the same thing, you get a certain set of community. And even like where I live, obviously, we do have the EDC Little that does host some of the classes already that, try to provide some of this. So I want to appeal to the biggest audience. So I think that seriously looking at Inglewood and Carson would be a good deal. And then Director Pavai mentioned is, like the current, legislation, anything that should be on the radar screen. And again, my interest in a lot of this in the beginning was the Colorado River, which we all know that's a very hot topic. Of course, the average person out there may or may not realize, but in the water world and in the political world right now, we know that's a big deal. So I definitely want that to be something that we, parlay to those who come in to these events. And then but that also gives you the opportunity to showcase what West Basin has done to insulate ourselves from a lot of these challenges in the Colorado River and from the Sierras. So
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Director Houston. Okay. So our next item is 6B, the monthly communications update. EJ?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for this presentation, we have Jen Jensen, our Public Information Specialist Chief, and the item begins on packet page 15.
As I begin this report, I would like to, before we move on to the next slide, I'd like to make an addition to the report. In the time since this was submitted, we did publish a press release, so wasn't able to be included on here, but I did want to mention it as it is timely. So following the establishment of the 2026 board position, we drafted and sent a release to media announcing two positions. So moving on to slide 17 for a recap of our web news stories. We published a story to inform the public of the transition back to the $4 per square foot for public agency and business grass replacement rebate program. We also have a story to promote the upcoming grass removal class in Rolling Hills later this month, and another web story was published to announce again those 2026 board positions. And on to our earned media coverage on the next slide, 18 please. All of the stories that you see here in this reporting period were written about West Basin's check presentation to their Most of Beach Friends Central Library for their efforts in helping us to distribute grain barrels to the community last year. So we received obviously some great coverage here from all of the articles in the Daily Breeze, the Tribune, Easy Reader, and even picked up from Merced's Sunstar paper, which is not in our service area, but it's based out of Central California. So it's nice to see that West Basin's effort carry on and extend past our normal service area. And then that positive coverage from this story, like I said, it just really showcases West Basin's commitment to water sustainability and our efforts to provide beneficial community resources. And in other news coverage on slide 19, this summarizes all of the SBESC blasts and e-newsletters for West Basin's public programs, including garden design classes, water lab programs, the student art contest, and also our grass replacement rebates. So all of the media clips from this report can be found on page 31. And for our social media report on page 20 or slide 20, in this reporting period, our social media team posted a total of 31 times across all platforms, including 13 on Instagram, 13 times on Facebook, and 5 on LinkedIn. I do want to note, just if you're paying attention to the slides and those numbers, the numbers for Instagram and LinkedIn are swapped on this slide accidentally, but the total number of posts does remain the same. The graph represents the volume of engagement, which is 1,814. In fact, a visual demonstration of how often people are engaging with West Basin's post on each platform through either clicking on links, commenting, liking, saving, and sharing our posts. So you'll notice there's that spike in engagement around January 13th, and this would be from a Facebook ad we placed that boosted the visibility of our water assembly and the student art content. The total impressions or number of times our content was displayed to users on all platforms was more than 153,000 in the reporting period. And as I mentioned in each report, this stat really provides the grandiose perspective of the exposure of our content and what it's receiving, which in turn leads to increased visibility for the district and also showcases that engagement with the public and how they're interacting with our overall mission and our posts on each platform. Next slide, please. On this slide, we'll show the top performing social posts for each platform for the reporting month. And below that image of that post, we share why it was the top performer. Starting on the left, for Instagram, the tour guide trend reel that our team created got 60 engagements. And on Facebook, our top post was the upcoming recycled water tour with 307 views. And on LinkedIn, we received 901 impressions for the post highlighting the intern spotlight featuring Chloe Brown, our intern on the policy team. And then moving on to page 22 for our community relations update, please. We began this reporting period with a Girl Scout troop tour, it's a tongue twister, which welcomed 12 scouts to learn about West Basin. And then the water bottle filling station photo op in Malibu joined the mayor and Director Houston with a tour for the Boys and Girls Club. Welcome 16 excited to be next one. And then we also provided items to support the Carson Sheriff's Station golf tournament on February 2nd. And then following that, our HR department participated in an internship expo at USC where they interacted with 50 students to inform them about possible careers within the water industry. And then to end the reporting period, we welcomed 17 Loyola Marymount University students to a facility tour on February 2nd. Next slide, please, to the program section of this report, slide 24. And this will give a summary of the latest edition of the Water News newsletter. We published the 2026 winter edition at the end of January last month, showcasing our district's programs, community impacts, and also helpful information about water sustainability. The newsletter was deployed to our more than 3,800 subscribers with a 45% open rate and a 2% click rate through the link to the newsletter, which is on par with our typical stats from previous newsletters. This edition featured the announcement of our Water Lab program and all of the resources that it provides to our community, and also an announcement about the student art contest opening and helpful water saving tips for the winter season. The next publication of Water News will be in the spring of this year, and it will be published at the end of April. Next slide, 25, please. We have updates on the residential grass replacement rebate program. Since submitting this report, we've seen a slight uptick to our applicant numbers and are now at 315 signups. Staff continues to work through screening these applications continuously as we receive them to ensure eligibility requirements and also to get people started in the program once they pass that eligibility screening. We have since created a door hanger advertising campaign to target DAC areas, emphasizing free landscapes to encourage applications from these areas. And we'll continue to evaluate our marketing as we usually do to make sure it's effective and that our tactics continue to be beneficial as we move forward with advertising this program. On the next slide, 26, please. We'll provide an update on the promotion for businesses and public agencies grass replacement rebate program. That's available program funding window, as we mentioned before in our last reporting period, that decreased from when it was originally expected to expire and it ended last month. So we pivoted and adjusted our marketing strategy to accelerate our phase 2 marketing timeline, as you see on the slide right there, and all of those tactics. And we have 4 total applicants as of now. So our water policy team and general manager, I would like to note, have been meeting with all 17 cities to talk more about non-functional turf and West Basin's available resources. And we'll continue, our leadership will continue to prepare them, businesses and public agencies, for the ban, which takes effect January 1st, 2027, continues on. And our team also, the PI team will continue to inform cities and businesses through our marketing outreach as well of our $4 and up grass replacement rebate as time goes on to keep interest in the system. Slide 27, please, for our Parkway Beautification Program update. We are happy to report that things are progressing nicely with this program as of January, end of January, or now, really, and Gus will provide more information about this. We have 78 approved applicants. Is that correct as of today? Okay, that changes consistently, so I want to make sure I have that right number. And scheduling is currently taking place for assessments, herbicide application, and construction of the parkways for approved residents. Gus will, like I said, share more about that in his upcoming report after this. And then on slide 28, we have information about our 2026 fire escaping classes. We are looking forward to the first workshop of this calendar year next month in Topanga. And we're continuing to promote and market this workshop with all the methods listed on this slide, as well as planning a Chamber of Commerce outreach as well to add to our marketing strategies to kind of maximize our audience and just get new visibility for this program and this resource. So we will advise the board also when we confirm the next workshop in Rolling Hills Estates and the details of that in May. And on slide 29, please, we have announced the continuation of the Water Lab program details. So we're looking forward to the first event of the Water Lab program this year, which is a public tour this Saturday. And excited to announce we have 140 RSVPs for that tour and are really looking forward to welcoming the public to the first event of the calendar year. Also noted on this slide are dates for the first virtual chat and the first in-person Know Your H2O class. Next slide, please.
Yes. Quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, directors.
Do you have 140 RSVPs? What do y'all cap it off at? Like a lot.
No question.
Yeah.
If we can see if it rains hard and makes a difference.
Yes, it does. We typically have a drop-off rate of about 50%. But luckily, we have two tour guides in Aaron and Fritz, so we're able to accommodate 30, 35 each. So we anticipate around 70 will show up, and we prepare for that number. Gives or takes, but that's typically the problem.
That's pretty amazing, obviously.
Share that number. Make a note to share that number once the tour passes.
Of course.
Pass that up.
Very good. Thank you.
Where was I? Next slide, please. Page 30. Yes. This is the most recent information on the garden design classes in collaboration with WRD. We have 3 classes scheduled and are working on confirming 3 additional classes to close out this fiscal year. For the Rolling Hills class on February 26th, that'll be at the St. Paul. We have 60 RSVPs with 23 RSVPs already signed up for the Malibu class also next month at the Malibu City Hall. And then we just confirmed the venue for the April 22nd class in Manhattan Beach, which will take place at Rocket Ship Hall in Marine Avenue Park. And we'll provide an RSVP count for that class in the next committee meeting when we have some numbers on that. So that concludes this report. Happy to answer any additional questions you may have.
Thank you, Jen. I think there was one, can we go back to that one slide where you mentioned you had like over 300 signups? Get what slide it was. It was like kind of towards the beginning.
Yes, so you're talking about the residential grass replacement rebate program?
Yes.
That was slide 25. Yes.
Okay, so that 305 signups, is that across?
15 as.
Oh,
When you submit this report, we
Yeah.
get more applications come in, so that report says 305, but now as of today.
okay. Now, is that across the whole district or is that just certain districts? All of them?
District.
Okay, got it. Okay. Oh, that's great. I'll bring it behind the dais. Do we have any other questions or? Director Gray, do you have any questions on the report?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, well, we'll move on to our next item, which is 6C, monthly conservation programs update. EJ?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item will be presented by Gus Meza, our Water Policy and Resources Analyst. And the item begins on packet page 45.
Thank you, BJ. Good afternoon again, directors. My update begins on packet page 47. Thank you, Desiree. We do have a guest speaker here today online. I update our project manager for one of our projects. So she's going to provide an update on one of our programs. So I'm going to try to be brief through some of my updates here. Jen did cover some of these items already. Next slide, please. Our landscape design assistance program. You can see we're doing great here. EJ and Matt are meeting with our cities, and so we're assisting our cities with landscape designs. That's going very well. Also, let's see, we're going to be doing some more marketing. We're going to be hanging some more door hangers in our disadvantaged community areas. Next Monday, actually, we're going to hang about 16,000 door hangers in all 5 divisions of our DAC areas, our underserved areas. To get the word out, we want to try to increase the numbers for landscape designs from those areas. Next slide, please. Our $3 per square foot rebate. So we're hoping that the designs will encourage residents to apply for the rebates. So that, because that's the goal, is actually to have them use their designs to submit the rebate program. And as you can see here, 99 projects have been paid to date. Next slide, please. So this graph shows our original grant allocation, our USBR grant allocation of $385,000 on the left. You can see how it's funding our rebates for marketing and landscape designs. And the graph on the right is showing how much remaining funds are left. And so we're doing pretty well on spending this funding. So we'll continue to update the board each month as we spend this funding. The grant expires in June, but we did reach out to USBR staff, and we're trying to see if we can extend this another year. So we will get back to the committee to see if we can actually extend this. Because what we'd like to do is actually take that $123,000 and try to reallocate it to conduct more landscape designs and do more marketing and use up the grant funding. As was mentioned earlier, our goal is always to try to use all our grant funds. So we'll report back in the next month or two to see if we can get that extension. Next slide, please. For the $6 rebate, as you can see here, other information here, how many rebates have been paid to date. I think what's more interesting is the next slide on the draft. It kind of shows, if we could go to the next slide, please. Yes, thank you. It kind of shows how the money, we were successful in reallocating the funding with DWR last year, as you can see. And we are spending the money, so we're on track to spend that Parkway funding. And also, we're trying to spend more of the landscape design funding as well with the hanging those door hangers in the DAC communities. But we do plan on spending that $40,000 for the Parkway, and we continue to promote the rebate program as well. So we're doing really well with this DWR grant. Next slide, please. Thank you. For the $7 now $4 rebate for commercial and public sector, we are starting to see more rebate activity. As you can see here on the table on the right, close to $1 million has been reserved for this program. So we continue to promote it in all divisions. Also in Division 4, we are doing a lot of work to promote it. As mentioned a couple of times already, EJ and Matt have been meeting with our cities. They plan to meet with all our cities to promote the landscape designs and these rebates that commercial and public sector sites can use, to help meet that regulation of non-functional turf that starts, January 1st of next year. cities are gonna have to stop irrigating, and so the landscape designs are gonna help, these rebates are gonna help.
Sure.
But they've already, like, for example, Division Four, we've met with Culver City, DJ and Matt, Culver City, El Segundo, West Hollywood, and Malibu. Spoken to their staff, and they usually meet with the city managers, public work directors, park directors are in those meetings, so they're really learning about landscape designs and rebates. So hopefully they will be applying. And let's see, we also continue working with our chambers and our community-based organizations to get the word out to businesses via, newsletters, social media, and e-blast. The South Bay COG has sent information to their green business contacts. They have, over 4,000 contacts. And they've also placed information at public sites, libraries, city halls. So we're getting information out as well about these rebates. And so we also had a couple of meetings with the South Bay Association of Realtors. And so we hope to work with them to get more information out to the real estate agents. They too are very interested in our programs. They want to be able to inform homeowner associations that will be hit by the regulation in a couple of years, and it's the same with businesses. So the more informed they are, they can inform their real estate agents, and they can inform, owners about our rebates and these regulations that are coming down the road in the next couple of years. So we'll continue to get the word out about these rebates and hopefully get those numbers up as well. Yes, Director?
Just out of curiosity, and thank you, Gus. I know you guys are really working hard trying here. Now, I know, like, obviously Division Four has nobody so far that utilized this particular program since July 1 of last year now. But even in the other just divisions, there's not many people. Obviously, 3 has 4 people, but the numbers add up on the square feet. But remind me, this does impact commercial properties, right? So like if it's, you're in the warehouse areas, you're in the continental development types of areas. If you don't have recycled wastewater on your properties.
So January 1st of next year, regulation will apply to public sector cities, public sites first. And then the following year, January 1st, 2028, commercial businesses will have to, and then the following year after that, 29, it'll be the homeowner association, common area, non-functional turf areas.
No, but right now, obviously, we have the funds. We don't know what the funds available will be, let's say, next year, right?
Correct.
I don't know, when does this set of funds expire? Do you guys know?
Well, what I would say is that the funds that you see there, $7, for instance, the $7 is no longer available.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that Metropolitan Water District has been offering a significant rebate for grass replacement for how many years? It's been years and years.
Yeah.
And so West Basin has continued to go get grants and tried to always augment that. We've also worked with some of our retailers, our investor-owned utilities who offer money, and there are opportunities to quote unquote stack that money with this money. I don't want to cut you off on your questions, but I did have a comment on the number of applicants that we've seen.
Well, go ahead. What's your comment?
Well, I'm very pleased to say that the reason you don't see too many applicants is because our municipalities have done an amazing job. Yes, and I'll use just because you see that 0 there for Division 4. We met with Culver City, and they were doing everything they could to think about portions of their city where there was any grass to be removed. They started this a couple of years ago as far as removing all of the non-functional turf. It's a citywide plan, all of their medians, and they were trying to get creative about how they could make the most out of this rebate and possibly utilize it, but they've done an amazing job so far. And then we've met with West Hollywood, I think the other day, and Malibu today. And both cities said, there's really nothing that they could think of, though they were starting to think about commercial and kind of that institutional private education component. And so we're going to continue to work with them, but there's a reason why there's
Oh,
only
yeah.
10 applicants up there.
Okay. And I'll just, and I'm not personally saying I'm disappointed in the zeros you did before. I think what's actually really interesting, and you're 100% accurate, the public sector folks have taken a lot of advantage of this upfront. And the next group we're gonna have to definitely go after is those commercial property owners, which, as you know, in Culver City, there's there's quite a few of that kind of, what do I say? I don't want to say a warehouse district, but you know what I mean? There's a very large set of warehouse and offices converted, kind of similar in this neighborhood. Obviously, same in El Segundo, and not all of them are near recycle wastewater from us. So I think that's what we've got to work on, is how do we outreach to these property owners, right? And working through the cities to maybe figure out who they are, but also then do specific outreach to them at some point, because, you know, they're probably going to wait till the 11th hour to try to do something, and they may or may not have as much resources available for all of us. So, you know, now's the time to try and get them prepared a little early. So anyway, just some thoughts, and we can talk offline about it, but I really would love to see us, and I'm glad you talked to the realtors, but I'd love to see us. How do we talk to some of these, these property owners in these different cities? And it's not just my division, obviously, the other divisions. I mean, this one's gonna hit Carson, it's gonna hit Gardena, you know. So in the next probably 6 months, we have to be thinking about that, right? Because of the next set of deadlines. On the
Correct.
top. Okay. So, maybe, you know, down the road, you let us come back and let us know what you're thinking about that.
Okay.
Strategy.
I would just, we can always and will always do more. But I'm very impressed with all the outreach that's being done. He's not here, obviously, but Charles Gale from Metropolitan Water District, he works hand in hand with our water use efficiency and policy staff. And he is currently serves on numerous of those chamber boards. And he's been coordinating with us to get the word out. We're doing everything we can, but we'll look to see what more we can do.
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually a good point, because, yeah, Charles has been engaged for years and serves actually on a lot of the local chamber boards. And always tells everything that's going on from the Metropolitan's perspective, which is great. So he hits a lot of things that none of us always are available for. And so, yeah, tap him, and you know, how we can engage. But I do think that these property owners, especially some of the larger ones, we may have to have some individual outreach to some of them, you know? So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And to help answer some of these questions, the next couple of slides, Director, it shows, next slide, please. It shows some of the actual applicants, as you had mentioned, that there's a plaza. So some of these businesses and commercial properties, they are hearing about the rebates. And so you can see here, these applicants are getting $7 per square foot. A little over $500,000 has been reserved for their projects. The next slide, please. There's a few more. These are getting $4 per square foot since the rebate has dropped. As you can see here, there's some cities, there's some HOAs already working on projects. So people are hearing about these regulations and the rebates, and they're applying almost another $500,000 here. So yeah, I just wanted to show that. And next slide, please. Okay, so I am going to introduce our project manager here. I'm gonna turn my camera on here. We have a project that we're running up in the North Santa Monica Bay Area, Las Virgenes. We're part of a partnership there with Las Virgenes, LA County. So we're involved in the Malibu and Topanga areas. And so we have our project manager, Maureen Besnick, here on the line. And so she's going to provide a quick update. If we go to the next slide, please. A quick update on the project and the schedule and the marketing. So welcome, Maureen. Welcome, Mo.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, directors and all. Appreciate you having me here today. I'm not sure how well versed everyone is in the entire program, but this was which it's just so impressive how West Basin has gone after grants through decades here and just got hundreds of thousands of dollars. I worked on the Malibu Topanga Smart program years ago, but this grant, Drought Resiliency Grant partnership with Las Virgenes MWD, serving and covering the Topanga and Malibu area. The grant has a lot of measures in it, from smart controllers, turf replacement rebates, rain barrels, et cetera. But one main element that we really were focusing on here, and that pretty significant dollars were put, is to overcome the design barrier with turf replacement projects. And obviously, as almost this entire, a big portion of this presentation tonight has been, is how important that design is. And it is a huge obstacle. So the original goal of the program, or the original thought, was that we would do like 1 hour site visits with the designers, go out to people's homes and do a sketch of a design in these areas. And we just really thought through that and thought, well, expensive, several $100s just to do each one of those. And we were nervous that those sketches would just end up in a drawer. So we redesigned the process here and formed a partnership with yardzen.com. And they are an online custom design platform. It's a beautiful platform. They really have a balance between AI generated images and online platform with highly qualified designers that support customers through the entire process. And they not only help you generate a custom design for your home, but they also connect you with local contractors, and they really make sure the project goes and gets complete. So we formed this partnership last summer with Yardzen. We had a soft launch in October. We came up with the full brand development. We came up with emails, a website, et cetera. And we launched a soft launch of the program, an email campaign in October. And we got a great response. We sent out 40,000 emails and 50% of people opened them. So we know the interest is there. It's really exciting. We do know that there's some friction points in our program. There's multiple steps that people had to go through to actually get their promo code. They had to fill out a pretty long form. And so we're reconfiguring this sign-up flow now and trying to get rid of any friction points and optimizing the website for mobile performance. And we're developing additional creative assets because our goal is to do emails, digital, and then user-generated content from people that actually participate in the program that can end up being influencers, and especially important in the Malibu and Topanga communities where they listen to their own community. That's who they want to hear from. So that's what we're doing right now. We are reconfiguring everything and working on the new emails as well as all of the digital ads. And we're going to be also doing a postcard really targeting specifically, we think the demographic we're going after is really West Malibu. It's Point Dume, it's Paradise Cove, it's Trancas, and we really want to get in there and see if we can do some direct mail, go after the customers that have turf in those areas, offer this custom design. We're working with the city of Malibu, just awesome. They have a new environmental sustainability analyst who actually grew up there, so she's well connected. We're leveraging every connection that she has. We're working with the environmental subcommittee. They're setting up meetings with the community services division, realtors, just friends and family, just really trying to get the word out for our. It's going to be a large launch in April. And one of the things is we're trying to we've done a statistical analysis of when people look up landscape designs and what, and rain events, and we see this direct correlation. Like, they don't look at landscape conversions, which makes sense when it's pouring rain outside. So we are, our goal is April 9th launch, as long as there's no big rain event right before that. So we're really trying to make sure that we're spending every dollar as efficiently as possible, that we're going to get the impact we can. We're hitting the season when people are thinking about their yards, April through June, and some in the summer. And so that's really where we're at. Gus, I'm not sure if there's anything else you wanted me to add.
No, Maureen, no, you did a great job. Just turn it over to our directors to see if they have any questions.
Great.
You guys. I'm gonna bring you behind the dais. Do we have any concerns or questions for the presentation?
This is Director Houston. Hi, Mo.
Hi, Director
Ben.
Houston.
It's been a long time since I've
I
seen you in
know.
person.
I know.
But thank you and thank you so much for all the work you did in the past with us. We've gone through a lot, especially up there in Malibu and Topanga over all these years.
Yes.
But yeah, Gus knows this and EJ and everybody. I mean, so excited that we brought this together. So I'm really looking forward to what you all are doing. Thank you for everything you mentioned, especially looking at, the efficiency and really making it so targeted. And I thought that was interesting. Well, two things you said, two or three things. One of them, I mean, you're right. The Malibu and the Topanga people, they really listen to themselves. They listen to each other. It's a very, they're a very tight knit set of communities, high profile as they are. And they've obviously been through a lot. But I appreciate that you're really working with, those experts in those communities to how can we drill deep into getting to the heart of those folks we're trying to reach. Because I'm
Yeah.
excited about this program, So I just wanted to express that. What was the other thing I was gonna say? I don't know what the other thing I was gonna say. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm just really very excited that we've gotten to this point and working in partnership with Las Virgenes as well, and just everybody to make this come together. Certainly, if you have something you wanted to add, I welcome that.
Yeah, no, we're really excited too. We think it's a great model and hope that it's scalable, especially for, these specific communities. This is what's really hard about when we do this marketing, because it really does need to be targeted. We need to meet customers when they're at the point of thinking about, doing a landscape conversion. So that's what's really important. We're really digging into the data, and I think it's going to be super interesting. We've already learned a lot, and we're making modifications all the time. So I would imagine that in summer we'll have a great report for you.
Very good. Well, thank you, and I look forward to probably getting up there at some point as well, and hopefully seeing you in
Great.
person.
Yeah.
But we're definitely here always to partner and assist. But thank you so much, Mom.
Thank you, Director Houston.
Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Gus?
Yeah, I'll keep moving on. Thank you, Mo. Great job. I'll keep moving on. I just have a couple of quick, brief updates. I'll be very brief. Next slide, please. We talked about the Parkway beautification program and the action item, the additional gardens to that program. And so we'll still provide more information next month to let you know how they're being constructed. We have a meeting next week with UWR. They're going to be visiting a couple of the parkways. They're providing the grant funding, so we'll be meeting with them. Next slide, please. Rain Barrel events, we're wrapping up our check presentations for Division 4. We just had a check presentation yesterday, Culver City, for the Culver City Rotary. That went great. And our next one is next month, March 19, for the Optimist Club of Malibu. So presenting them with their check for helping us with the Rain Barrel events. Next slide, please. And earlier we covered some of the classes already, so we always provide this list of upcoming classes that we continue to update. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gus. Do we have any questions or on Gus's presentation?
Just make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say to Gus, thank you very much for yesterday. We were both there at the Culver City Rotary Club, who helped us with the rain barrels, one of my rain barrel events. So we're there. It's a great club. They're very, of course, grateful to always help us. But the other thing too is a lot of them, Director Little was a member of that club. And a lot of them remember Director Little, and we're friends with us. That was really kind of nice and special that they brought that up to us while we were there again. So again, thank you, Gus, for being there. And helping me with accomplishing that. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Director Houston. Director Dare? Director Gray, you have any comments? Question?
Mr. Chairman, Director Gray had to log off.
Okay. Thank you. All right, go ahead and move on to our next item, which is 6D, monthly water bottle filling station update. EJ?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this final item will be presented by Tammy Hurley High, our Senior Water Policy and Resources Analyst, and it begins on packet page 61.
Good afternoon, directors.
Afternoon.
So, going to give you a brief update on this program, monthly update on the water bottle filling station program. If we can go to the next slide, please. This slide of all of the applications that have been submitted last fiscal year, there's one installation remaining. We've been informed that the city of Torrance has installed their station, so they were on that list last month. So yeah, been active. Next slide, please. Here's a list of applications received this fiscal year. 2 from the Inglewood Unified School District, 1 from the Gardena Buddhist Church, and 1 from Cal Water Service Company. Actually, 2 water bottle filling station applications were submitted by Cal Water at their headquarters facility. However, just as an update, we did approve just 1 application because they had an indoor location and an outdoor location. The outdoor location generated a lot more foot traffic, and that was really kind of the goal of the program. So we did approve that 1 application. It was 1 outdoor water bottle filling station, freestanding unit at $2,000. I'll let you know that. So they have a heavier amount of foot traffic for their employees and their contractors. Next slide, please. So shown here is the budget for this fiscal year. And for tracking purposes, we placed the 1 line item for Cal Water on their application just to spread out the allocated funds across all 5 divisions. Next slide, please. So we are working with these entities here, and we anticipate receiving applications from them soon. I am on the phone every now and then with them answering questions. So looking forward to getting some of these applications soon. Next slide, please. And we are also working with a couple of agencies on scheduling joint photo opportunities with those who have completed their installations. We'll continue to keep the board of directors informed and gain more information about the scheduling opportunities that may arise. Next slide, please. All right, so here is a completed joint photo taken with the city of Malibu, and pictured here from left to right is Mr. Chris Orzos. He's the interim recreation manager, along with their city mayor, Marianne Reagan, and Director Houston. So this outdoor station is located at one of the entrances to the main loop around Legacy Park. And the proximity to the public bus stop and the location. This location has extremely high pedestrian foot traffic. So thank you, Director Houston, for making your time to come out and take that photo with them. Next slide, please. So this is a brief update of the cities that our staff, our general manager and water policy manager have met with, which you've heard already earlier, the meeting with these cities, to provide them more information on all of the programs we have, the non-functional turf, and then also the water bottle filling station program. So just making them aware that, the funding is available, and, we'd like to help them with, help funding any new stations that they may have, locations that they need for.
I have a question, if I might. You and others this evening have mentioned meeting with cities.
Yes.
Do you meet with certain people in the city, certain occupations, certain officers? Who do you normally meet with?
Right. So we, Matt and EJ, have been meeting with the city managers or public works directors or
each city has kind of a different perspective as to who needs to be there. We've met with as high up as city managers that are just trying to, maybe they're newer, so they want to understand better like, who West Basin is. A lot of times it's public works directors or project managers that have a working relationship with West Basin, so they just want to get the updates. And then, as was mentioned earlier, sometimes you have city landscapers and parks folks that are trying to better understand how they can utilize our programs for what they oversee. So it has been, all across the board as far as who has met with them. But I initially notified the city manager that we would like to come and do these presentations. And so it's been very, I would say interesting to see how many staff members come to those meetings, because some cities have sent, quite a few, and some it's just been a city manager or a public works director. So it's varied.
Thank you.
Okay. And then also along those lines, the fire department has been more, do more outreach for the water bottle filling station program, particularly on social media channels and whatnot. And then also the South Bay Cog, they are working with us on promoting our program. They've been doing a little bit more increased efforts on the water bottle filling station programs as well. And I'm seeing, the sheets on that. So, yeah, I also want to mention that Matt and I have been reviewing the water bottle filling station program. We have identified a couple of areas that could potentially be enhanced and might be able to spur activity and increase in the program activity. So we would like to bring, these ideas back to you next month. We'd like to seek your input and your feedback on the program as well, as far as if it could be better enhanced to spur the more applications on the facility. But we want to give you a breakdown of the program overall since its inception and, what we've seen on the activities and where we're at now with the program. So with that that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I'll bring it behind the desk. Do we have any questions or comments from our directors?
I just wanted to also say thank you to Tammy, because it was great. We could finally get that photo taken up in Malibu. And it happened to be a really gorgeous day, though really hot actually. But the city of Malibu is what sparked this whole process to start this whole program. Came from that, if you recall.
Yeah, there's been key cities that really came out saying that they wanted them, and so.
That was the two in the city hall located there when we didn't have such a program. So this sparked it, and it was really good connecting with the mayor and, talking to her and looking at some potential other opportunities. But like I say, I think, Tammy has done a really great job, trying to look under every rock and all the different, entities that we supply water to and jurisdiction that this would apply to. And so, thank you for that and the fact that it came together. And it was just a really nice time to be up there and see them. And they're so proud. And they were giving us ideas about, they've got a couple more spots potentially down the road. And they are a small city, even though it's Malibu, it's a small city. So they've only got so many spots. So anyway, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. And I know you're doing a good job trying to help us find where to put these funds.
Thank you, Director Houston. Director Deere?
I noticed in many of the reports, Division 5 is the leader or one of the leaders. I'm assuming that's a reflection on the elected officials.
There you go.
Okay, our next item is closed session. Do we have any closed session there, EJ?
None today.
All right, then our next item is director's comments and future agenda items. Directors, do we have any comments or future agenda items?
Say thank you to staff very much, and we appreciate it. See you next.
Yeah, thank you, staff, for everything you do. Our next is adjournment. Meeting adjourned, everyone.